The arena's holographic displays flickered with Elsa's latest victory statistics: 847 consecutive wins, 0 losses. She stood at the center of the quantum combat ring, her neural implants still glowing faintly blue as they cycled down from battle mode. The crowd of spectators, both human and post-human, roared their approval from the observation decks that spiraled up into the biodome's artificial sky. Elsa removed her haptic gloves with deliberate slowness, her enhanced reflexes making every movement seem almost choreographed. At 26, she was considered old for a neural combat champion, but her hybrid physiology, 40% cybernetic enhancement, gave her advantages that pure humans could never match. Her opponents lately had been other augmented fighters, their bodies modified with the latest military-grade technology from the Martian colonies. "Another disappointing challenge," she announced, her voice amplified across the arena by embedded speakers. Her opponent, a hulking figure with titanium-reinforced bones, lay unconscious in the medical pod, his vital signs stable but his pride thoroughly demolished. The arena's AI moderator, Iris, materialized as a shimmering avatar beside her. "Champion Elsa, your performance metrics exceeded predicted parameters by 17%. Do you wish to accept additional challenges today?" Elsa laughed, the sound carrying an edge of boredom that hadn't been there a year ago. She'd conquered every fighting style, defeated every augmented warrior the colonies could produce, and earned enough credits to buy a small moon if she desired. What was left? "I'll marry any human who beats me," she said, the words escaping before she'd fully considered them. The crowd gasped. Iris's avatar flickered with what might have been surprise, or perhaps just a processing delay. "Champion Elsa, please clarify. Do you mean baseline human or—" "Pure human," Elsa interrupted, her dark eyes scanning the crowd with something like hope. "No augments, no implants beyond standard medical necessities, original biology only." She paused, then added with another chuckle, "Though I suppose that makes it impossible, doesn't it? No unmodified human could possibly match my combat matrix." The declaration spread through the solar system's networks within seconds. On Earth, Mars, the Europa stations, and even the distant mining outposts beyond Neptune, people heard the challenge. Some laughed, others calculated odds. Most dismissed it as the bravado of an undefeated champion who knew she'd never face a legitimate challenger. The arena cleared. Elsa accepted her victory purse and returned to her private quarters in the upper rings of New Singapore Station. She'd meant the challenge as a joke, a momentary rebellion against the monotony of perfection. But as she stood in her apartment, watching Earth rotate below through the transparent deck plating, she found herself wondering if somewhere, somehow, there existed a human who could surprise her. 3 weeks later, Harry registered for a match. The notification appeared on Elsa's neural feed during her morning training session. She was running combat simulations against Iris's most advanced algorithms, her body moving through kata sequences that blended ancient martial arts with modern kinetic theory. The message made her pause mid-strike. "Challenger registered. Harry Chen, age 28, classification. Baseline human verified, augmentation level, 0%. Elsa pulled up his file. The holoimage showed an unremarkable man, average height, lean build, dark hair cropped short. His background was equally ordinary, born on Earth, educated in classical physics and quantum mechanics, worked as a researcher at the Lunar Applied Sciences Institute. No combat training listed, no athletic achievements, no enhanced reflexes or strength. "Iris," Elsa called out, "this must be an error. Run full verification." "Verification complete," the AI responded. "Harry Chen meets all specified criteria. Baseline human, no augmentation. He has formally accepted your challenge and submitted the required medical clearances." Elsa felt something she hadn't experienced in years, curiosity. "When?" "He requests a match in 72 hours. Standard quantum combat protocols." Accepted. The next 3 days felt strangely long. Elsa trained, but her mind kept returning to the puzzle. How could a baseline human possibly think he had a chance? She reviewed footage of her previous matches, analyzing every technique, every advantage her augmented biology provided. Her reaction time was 12 times faster than an unmodified human's. Her strength was enhanced by synthetic muscle fibers. Her neural implants could predict opponent movements by analyzing microexpressions and body mechanics before conscious thought. The arena filled to capacity on match day. News of the impossible challenge had drawn spectators from across the system. Betting pools had formed, though the odds were so heavily stacked toward Elsa that few bothered wagering on Harry. Elsa entered the quantum combat ring first, her combat suit gleaming with embedded sensors. The crowd's energy washed over her, but she barely noticed. Her attention fixed on the entrance where Harry would appear. He walked in wearing simple training clothes. No armor, no haptic feedback system, no visible technology at all. He moved with economy, neither nervous nor overconfident. When he bowed to her, it was with genuine respect. "Champion Elsa," he said quietly, his voice carrying through the arena's acoustics. "Thank you for accepting my challenge." Up close, she could see intelligence in his dark eyes, but also something else, a calm that seemed almost anachronistic in their frenetic age. "You understand what you're facing?" she asked. Harry smiled slightly. "I understand what you think I'm facing." Iris materialized between them. Combatants' standard rules apply. Neural disablement or physical incapacitation constitutes victory. Lethal force is prohibited. Quantum combat matrix will engage in 3, 2, 1. The world shifted. Quantum combat existed in a state of controlled reality manipulation. The arena's processors generated probability fields where fighters could execute moves that bent traditional physics, not breaking natural law, but exploiting quantum uncertainty to create brief windows of advantage. For augmented fighters like Elsa, neural implants helped navigate these shifting possibilities. For a baseline human, it should have been overwhelming. Elsa struck first, her enhanced speed allowing her to cross the distance between them in a microsecond. Her fist, guided by predictive algorithms, targeted 7 potential positions where Harry might be based on probability calculations. He wasn't in any of them. Instead, he stood exactly where he'd started, his posture shifted by only millimeters. Elsa's momentum carried her past him. She recovered instantly, faster than any unaugmented being could process, and launched a spinning kick that her combat matrix calculated had a 97% probability of connection. Harry moved like water, not dodging but flowing around the attack. His hand touched her ankle so lightly she barely felt it, but the contact disrupted her angular momentum in a way that sent her stumbling. Impossible. Elsa reset, her processors analyzing the exchange. Harry hadn't been faster. Her sensors confirmed his movements were well within baseline human parameters. He hadn't been stronger, yet somehow he'd countered her perfectly. She attacked again, this time using the quantum field itself, shifting through probability states to create multiple potential strike vectors. Her augmented mind tracked each possibility, ready to collapse into whichever path proved optimal. Harry closed his eyes. In the fraction of a second before her attack completed, he moved through a series of positions that seemed random, until Elsa realized they were perfect negations of her probability attacks. Not dodges, but positions that existed in the null spaces of her offensive matrix. Places her augmented mind had calculated as irrelevant, and therefore ignored. He was reading the quantum field itself, using pure human intuition to navigate possibilities her processors couldn't anticipate. "How?" she gasped, genuinely shocked for the first time in years. Harry opened his eyes. "Your augments make you faster, stronger, more precise, but they also make you predictable. They calculate optimal solutions based on quantifiable data. I trained myself to stop thinking like that, to respond to the moment as it is, not as it should be. He'd spent 5 years studying quantum mechanics not to build better technology, but to understand uncertainty itself. He'd learned ancient meditation techniques that allowed his mind to exist in superposition, aware of multiple possibilities without collapsing into certainty. While Elsa's implants gave her superhuman speed, they also locked her into deterministic patterns. Harry fought from a place of pure probability, a human mind embracing uncertainty rather than calculating around it. The match continued for 17 minutes, an eternity in quantum combat. Elsa threw everything at him: strikes that bent spacetime, grapples that exploited relativistic effects, techniques that had defeated the solar system's most dangerous fighters. Harry met each one with responses that shouldn't have worked, but did, his baseline human biology somehow flowing through gaps in reality that technology couldn't perceive. Finally, exhausted in a way her augmented body had never experienced, Elsa found herself on one knee. Harry stood before her, barely winded, his hand extended. "I yield," she said, and meant it. The arena exploded in chaos. Iris's avatar flickered wildly, trying to process the impossible result. Spectators argued, demanded reviews, insisted on equipment failures. But Elsa knew the truth. She'd lost fairly to a baseline human who'd understood something she'd forgotten in all her years of augmentation: that true strength wasn't about optimizing every advantage, but about embracing the beautiful uncertainty of simply being human. She took Harry's hand and let him help her to her feet. "I suppose," she said, finding herself genuinely smiling, "I made a promise." Harry smiled back. "Let's start with dinner and see where probability takes us." In a universe obsessed with enhancement, optimization, and transcending biological limits, a baseline human had won not by becoming more than human, but by being fully, completely, impossibly human. And Elsa, for all her cybernetic superiority, found that she wanted to learn how. And